Hey everybody, it's Matthew of Mr. Domestic. I woke up like this. I'm not quite flawless though, and that is the purpose of this video. It's not a makeup tutorial, rather, this is a video to show you how to make a beanie on your domestic machine. A lot of people are intimidated by knits and think that you can only sew knit on a serger. That's not true. So if you wake up with your hair like this or just want to look a little bit more stylish, this is the video for you. And before we get into the content, don't forget to subscribe and anytime give this video the thumbs up. Now let's get ready to have some fun. So the first thing that you need to do whenever you're choosing to make a beanie is pick your knit fabric. I prefer 4-way stretch knits when doing beanies because it kind of hugs the head a little bit better, and I found 2-way stretch to be a little bit more taut on the head, but whatever you have, definitely make it work. And I have pre-cut this size to the specifications in this table right here, so if you want to pause this to write down your needed measurements, then feel free to do so. But I would definitely measure your head before just assuming, because some people have bigger or smaller heads. I've got a big noggin, but it happens to be what is on the measurement there. So now that you have this cut fabric to whatever your specification is, fold it in half, the width. So the width is in half, and then the length of it to where it looks like this, with 4 raw edges on the top, 1 raw edge on the side, and then this is folded, and then this is 2 folds. And what you're going to do here, the first thing you're going to do is create your curve here. So you need something curvy. I have this, I found that this 8-inch clammy just works perfectly for me when making the beanies for my head. So anything that you have, circle. If you have a plate, like an 8-inch plate, that'll work. I'm very much a sewist and maker that likes to use whatever I have at home. So then you'll cut one side the circle with the rotary cutter, cut that off, and then go to the other side and cut the other circle. Ta-da! Now you have the top. And so that it doesn't get all bunched up and bulky at the very top, we're gonna cut a little V here. And I like to find the center line. I'll just fold it in half. Right here, find that center line, like finger press it so you know where it is. And it's right there. Then from that center line, I'm going to measure 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on this side. And I have my little tailor's chalk just so that I know where it is. And sometimes I vary depending on the knit, but I want this one more closed in. And then I'm gonna go down 3 inches from the center, right here. And this would also vary depending on the size of your head. So if you had a smaller head, needed less, then don't go down the full 3 inches. And then I am going to create a V. So now I have the V, and then I'm just going to cut this out. And there you go. That's all the cuts that you need for making the beanie. And I'm going to show you a picture right now of it opened up. So if your knit fabric looks like this, then take it over to your sewing machine, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks of sewing with knit on a domestic machine. If you have multiple stitches on your machine, you more than likely have the 2 primary stitches required to sew knit on a domestic machine. The first one is a lightning bolt one right here. And this, I call this the stretch stitch because it's great, especially for 2-way knits. And then this one, I call this one the super stretch stitch because it goes forward, backwards, forward again, and creates an amazing stretch stitch. And I use that one for my 4-way knit projects, which is this one. So that's gonna be the stitch that I use, the one that has 3 lines on it. So search for that one on your domestic machine and get ready to sew. So now what I'm going to show you, I'm just going to test this. I have my test fabric just to show you that the stitch, the super stretch stitch actually works. Just put it here. I haven't adjusted the length, it's a standard length. And then let me just show you, because I know there might be some naysayers or some people who are new to knit. See, I've sewn it, and like boom, boom, boom. I pulled it as hard as I could, and if this stitch wasn't gonna hold, you would have heard some pops. So yes, this is the stitch. And the first part you're gonna sew on the beanie are the V's. you're gonna sew these together, right sides together, and start right here. And I'm going to do about 1/4 inch seam allowance. Knit doesn't fray, so you could go even tighter on the seam allowance if you wanted to. And then get started. Usually start slow so that the machine doesn't eat it. Then I speed up. And I'll do one in real time so that you can see it, and I'll do the others in fast time. Okay, here you go. And this is all going to be hidden, so it's okay if it looks like that on the inside. And ta-da! Ta-da! The seam is good. So now I'm going to do the other 3 sped up. Okay, now that I've sewn up all of the V's and closed them, I'm going to fold it right sides together once again to where it looks like a short, stout hot dog or sausage. And this is a figure so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to start on one of the folded points, the corners right here. See how it folds? Start here, start a little bit behind the actual cut line, and then ease into the curve. And I'm going to continue to go at 1/4 inch, and I'm going to sew up the entire raw perimeter, except I'm going to leave an inch opening somewhere. I'm going to speed this up now. Okay, now I'm back in real time. What I'm going to show you the inch opening in case this is a new concept to you. So I've stopped here. I'm going to lift the needle, and essentially I'm just going to move it an inch forward so there's an inch gap right here, and then just continue to sew. So I'm going to sew in fast time now. And now I've finished sewing this up. Now find that opening, that 1 inch opening. I'm gonna trim that thread here so it doesn't get caught. And this is knit, so this 1 inch opening is gonna be enough to push this entire thing through. And where that opening, for me, I'm going to have that be the inside so that I can machine stitch it close. So it's right side out. And this is where I like to put my labels, because I got my, look at, my fancy Mr. Domestic labels, and I just stick it right in there in that 1 inch hole. If you don't have labels, then it's totally fine. You don't have to have labels for this, but I put it in there because it kind of camouflages this being machine sewn. It's like it was machine sewn for a purpose. Then I make sure that the edges here are lined up on the bottom and top. As you see, I don't do a lot of pinning or clipping, but this might be a good place to pin or clip. And then I am just going to sew that in place. And this way, with this, I always know what the inside is. But honestly, even if you machine sew it and you don't have a label, like it's a beanie, no one's gonna see it if this part is on the outside. And I will cut that. And this is good to go. Look at that label. And then, now I'm going to put the inside on the inside and make the intersection of the 4 points on the bottom touch the intersection on the top. And this is just like a milliner trick that I learned so that it doesn't open up in the wash. I found if I don't do this, a lot of times it just opens up and turns into a big old hot dog in the wash, which is no big deal. But if you're in a hurry and you have to throw a beanie on, then those couple seconds that you have to fix it do matter. And I would just go onto the intersection, stitch in the ditch. It doesn't have to be perfectly lined, but stitch in the ditch here with the super stretch stitch, just a little bit. Keep it in place. And now I'm gonna show you what it looks like on. You are finished. Yay, I finally get to put my beanie on. I've been waiting for this the whole time. Oh, okay, I look stylish. See, I can go outside now and not embarrass Helena. So if you enjoyed this video, got some tips or tricks, make sure to give it the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Keep it positive, y'all. Mr. Domestic out. Thanks for watching my video. You can subscribe on the right, just click on my face and watch some of my other videos on the left.